So this isn't a conversation strictly about tariffs, but it's pretty related. Of course, Delta not really able to have any visibility, at least when it comes to the U.S., given all of this trade uncertainty, the effect on consumers. What are you seeing from where you sit?
Yeah, so we're based in Europe. We don't have a domestic market. And on the Transatlantic, we're seeing relative stability in the premium cabins, and we're seeing slight softness in the economy cabins, but nothing as of today which is causing us to shift any capacity.
I want to double down on this. What does relative stability mean? Because at what point, and investors around the world are watching every airline right now to see when that starts to break in confidence. When you talk to higher end consumers, when you talk to businesses, what would cause them to stop spending on air?
Well, always a recession would, travel is one of the first industries to get hit. I think after COVID, we've seen travel reposition itself on the priorities of many consumers. But with fuel being down, at least for us, and we look at how could this uncertain time play out on our bottom line, relatively we're always in crisis mode, our business. In Europe, we haven't had the record profits that U.S. carriers have enjoyed for a long time. So since even before COVID, we've had to transform, bring costs down. So it's this is a different uncharted territory for us, but we are used to crises, in particular in France, when it comes to transport.
So in terms of costs, things are looking better, right? I imagine fuel and labor are your two biggest cost inputs, and neither of those things is rising. In fact, you say fuel is coming down. What's labor look like?
So far, okay. We haven't reduced our capacity, and we haven't got big demands from our employees for wage increases. So that's relatively steady, and fuel coming down, that's a big win for us. I mean, hopefully I haven't seen it this low in a long time. So that's good news for us.
Yeah, it's been wild to watch what's unfolding in these energy markets. I do want to talk about this anti-American sentiment that we're seeing develop across some industries. I promise you're not going to hurt my feelings here, but Air Canada has already seen a drop in U.S. travel. Are you seeing something similar when it comes to Air France?
Well, I just mentioned, premium cabins. New York is still very attractive for Parisians, for French people, for Europeans. Paris, from what I see, the people I've spoken to today, still. I don't know if you guys have any trips planned to Paris, but no, it's I think we're hoping that it remains stable like we are today. Now, as I said, in the economy cabins, we're seeing some softness, but we're able to fill it with lower pricing. But watching it very, very closely.
One thing I'm interested from where you sit is, do you look around and say, well, maybe this is a good time to play some offense as a CEO? Are there deals in this market that you might be willing to strike in terms of stakes in other carriers or even full-on acquisitions, given the weakness in the market?
Well, I'm here today. Yesterday, we flew in on our brand new La Première first-class product. We launched it on our route to New York on a Boeing 777 airplane, and I spent some time walking around the plane to talk to various customers. And it was, I was pleased that, there was a big willingness to continue to fly. And our new product, there was a lot of excitement around it. It is what I believe is the best in the world, at least from my perspective. We're trying to position it that way, to have a private jet feel, 5 windows at each seat. And French know how to, they got great wines, great champagne, great food. And half of our cabins are filled by Americans.
Well, let me ask about getting planes. There was a time when that would have been my first question. If I talked to Guillaume Faury of the only other big plane maker, Airbus, I would have said, are you able to produce these? Is it no longer that time when you're worried about getting more capacity?
Well, our plans for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we were not counting on growing our capacity significantly. There are a lot of carriers in developing regions of the world that have got massive orders of new airplanes. Now, we have a lot of airplanes in order to replace existing planes in our fleet. And if we have to take some further delays on those, we'll maintain our older airplanes longer. So, you know, it will have higher expense on those airplanes. We won't have the fuel savings that we were expecting, but we've got the capacity that we'll need to keep in the marketplace to keep our budgets going.